Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek News. Today I'll be looking at Desnet Amane's League of Hackers, published by his own Mo Ideas game design house. And it's a card game for 2 to 4 players, plays in about a half hour or so. And I'll admit right up front, when this box showed up at my house as a press copy, I showed it to a gamer friend of mine who's in computer security, and he just was like rolling his eyes. He's like, I can't wait to laugh at this, because his perception of hacking and the issues involved there is very different from what gets presented in movies and other sort of representations. So I played with him 2 2-player games, and after it, he's like, wow, this really kind of represents hacking. Like, this is a good representation of kind of the issues involved and uses real world terms for everything, although a little dated from his perspective. Okay, I'll take his word for it. I have no idea. And the game is co-published, or at least branded. It's got a little notice on there from a Hacks in Taiwan conference. So, all right, maybe this all comes together as sort of an interesting package. There's a little more going on, maybe behind the scenes. How does the game play? You can think of it in short, like Android Netrunner, as you might expect, except you're both runner and corporation, trying to attack opponents while defending your own servers. And you have a Race for the Galaxy type action selection system, paying for actions with cards, but the cards give you the abilities that you're actually using, and they have some special powers on them. Here's an overview of the components of League of Hackers, set up somewhat for a 2-player game. Each player has a defense board. You have a little reminder chart of how the round goes, and you have a score chart, which also keeps track of the rounds. There are 3 rounds in the game, with at most 5 actions in each round. You have a layout of servers with additional server decks coming in rounds 2 and round 3, with more holes. More holes to protect, more things to attack. Okay. You are going to score points during the game for having servers, that is, undamaged servers, with clean holes at the end of a round. You'll score points for those. In addition, you will score points for attacking opponents and causing damage on there. Hacking is a sport in the future, and we sort of play it competitively and keep track that way. Okay. At the start of the game, you're going to draw a hand of 8 cards, and look these over. And then you're each going to draft a server. Okay. The server has a number of holes in it. It has a bonus at the bottom here. If this is undamaged, that's what the little sparkles are for on the card. Clean. If your server is clean, undamaged at the end of the round, it provides a bonus. Each undamaged server you have is worth 1 point. Each completely clean server. Let's make it clean. All right. And for each hole that's undamaged, you get a point as well. So that's what you do. The points escalate in rounds 2 and 3. So, of course, you get more and more of those. If you keep them undamaged, you get these big escalating bonuses because they all stack together like servers. Okay. What are the cards that you're getting? Well, there are 2 types of cards. You have defense cards, which come in 4 colors, which match the colors of the servers, and there's multicolor as well. They show the color and the defense value up top. And then they have a cost. Okay. They have a special ability at the bottom, as well as the phase in which that special ability would take effect. And there's, I don't know, a dozen, 15, 20 special abilities. I haven't really counted, but there's a lot of them. In addition to that, there are attack cards, and the attacks come in 4 colors, just like the defense. They have a color up top. These are multicolor attacks. It doesn't have a cost because you can determine the strength of the attack based on how many cards you pay with it. So usually they have a range 0 to 2, some of them have a range 1 to 3. And sometimes they just cause general damage or they cause direct damage to the servers. Okay, so you have a hand of cards. Everyone has a server to start with. There's more servers that you can buy during the game. How you actually take actions is with these action tiles. Each person has a set of 4 action tiles, and they're numbered 1 to 4 because there's 4 possibilities. And each of you chooses an action. Okay. You put 1 or more cards underneath it based on what you're trying to do, and then you reveal it. Okay. You install. I'm going to put in a new server, so I have to pay the cost of it. Each card I put under here is worth $1. I discard that, and I get another server to add to my collection. And I knocked my cubes all around. Okay. Another possibility is defense. All right. Again, you take one or more cards. Oops, underneath here. You reveal. You call out the phases in order 1, 2, 3, 4, and whoever has that tile reveals it, and you pretty much do things simultaneously. Okay, so defense. I want to install this red defense to go with all these servers I've got. It's got a big defense value. I have to pay 2, so those cards go out of the game. And now I have this special ability at the bottom. So when I do blue or yellow attacks, I cause direct damage. Okay, something to keep in mind as I'm doing stuff. Another possible action, of course, would be attack. Since I just mentioned attack, what should I do here? Well, so I reveal my attack when we call that round. Here's a blue attack, and I'm discarding 1 card with it. So we're going to have this ability here where I do 6 damage and 2 additional direct damage. When you do damage, for each player, you look at their defense value based on whatever cards they play. They keep track of their total defense here. You subtract the defense from the attack value, and then you cause that much damage, which you keep track of with tokens, which are double-sided with 1 and 2. And you evenly distribute them among whatever open holes the opponent has. So if he had a defense of 2 and I cause 6 damage, it's going to be 4 damage distributed among here. Oh, and there's 2 more direct damage thanks to my defense, so that gets put here as well. Each hole can take at most 4 damage, and you score points based upon the most damage that you do to one player. So you're attacking everybody at once. It may not be effective. If someone doesn't have a blue server, you don't do any damage to them. Or if they have a huge defense, it doesn't work. But you're not just picking on one player, you're blanketing everybody at once with the attack. So if I cause 6 damage, right? 6 here, 2 direct, 2 prevented, 6 are actually distributed, I would get 6 points. If I don't cause any damage because the holes are already destroyed with 4 damage, then I don't get any points. So you have to manage your attacks as you do that. Last option is mitigate. For each card you put under here, you remove 3 damage from your own servers. Okay? Now, the cards are a finite resource. You get 8 cards each round. If you spend all your cards before the 5 actions are up, you don't take any more actions. You're done. Okay, which makes sense, but it was your choice based on what you wanted to pay for here. At the end of a round, you get points for undamaged servers. You then go to the second round, you get a new hand of 8 cards. You bring out the larger servers, which provide 2 points for each clean server at the end of a round, but have more things for opponents to attack. And more points if you keep them undamaged. So again, it's kind of the mix of both. Based on the cards you get, you're going to decide what you want to do for the round, what approach you're going to take, and what servers you want to buy, and so on and so forth. And after 3 rounds, then the player with the most points wins. There's an overview of League of Hackers, and there's some adjustments for a 2-player game. As I mentioned, you have a dummy player, where as you draft servers at the start of the game, you're each going to give a server to the dummy whose defense is generated automatically equal to the number of holes he has to protect. And as you exceed him in servers, then you add more. The opponent will draft a server and give it to him. So his defense increases, but also the target, something for you to attack. Right? As your opponent grows, then this grows too. This is how it goes on. So, interesting part of the game as well is the special powers on the defense cards, right? Because those are going to give you an incentive for doing different things or using cards in different ways based on whether you're getting bonuses for attacking in certain colors, or if you attack multiple players and cause damage to multiple players at once, or a discount on buying servers, or additional server bonuses, and so forth and so on. You know, all the usual sort of special power things that you would get in a card game. That's what you're going to have. And it's interesting as well because I played twice, as I mentioned, on press copy with 2 players, and it's interesting that it has a definite learning curve on what you're going to do, and it's sort of you see that as you play. We played the first game, the entire first round. You play only 4 actions with 2 players. We did action, same action. Second, same action. Third, same action. Fourth, same action. Whoa, okay, this is a little silly here. And then the second complete round, we started again, same action, and then we got different. Okay, so we had 5 actions in a row that were just lockstep as you go through there. And I think it's just that nature of learning the game. You sort of do, what's the most obvious thing you're going to do? Well, I want some defense first. I don't want to get defense. I want to get more defense. I want to have more servers so I have something to score. And you sort of go along the same path. And then we played again immediately, and it was very different. It was sort of doing different things. And of course, you get a better sense of what cards you have in hand and how they work and how they do things. And it's all that nature of playing the game. It's exploring that world. It's getting in there first and being like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do stuff based on, I don't know, what seems obvious based on other games I've played and do this other stuff. And then you actually get more into the world of the game and you see how it works. And you sort of differentiate yourself from there. You still not, you may not play well. I'm not saying that, but at least you'll sort of develop your own personality within the world as you start meshing with it. And then you'll make mistakes, like my opponent did when he failed to attack me at the end of the second game, and we ended up tying when he could have crushed me completely because he failed to attack. So don't let that mistake happen to you, unless you're playing against me, in which case, sure, I'll tie.